Doug getting paid back on another video. So this one's about Malika Andrews. Malika Andrews is awful. She's a 28-year-old entitled diversity hire. She's the host of NBA Today, but she never played basketball. She berates all of the males, the basketball players that come on her show. She's cut people off the show, and she brings up stuff that she just shouldn't touch. She's been slammed in the news because Brandon Miller, she's talking about him during the NBA draft, and she brought up this case that he's involved in, but he wasn't the main person in it. So this article is called ESPN Malika Andrews Slam for mentioning Brandon Miller's murder case, link at NBA draft. And this should be the greatest night of this guy's life, being drafted in the NBA, and you have Malika Andrews trying to ruin it. Before I get into this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And put what you think about Malika Andrews in the comments, please, guys, because I can't stand her. The way she talks, that whole, I'm going to tilt my head halfway down to look more authoritative because she knows she shouldn't be in that chair. The way she talks to sports legends, the players and reporters, what she had the nerve to do to Stephen A. Smith, where she called up his show and tried to tell him to stop on his own show. She's your typical entitled modern woman. Anyway, let's get into this article. It says, Malika Andrews was trending Thursday during ESPN's coverage of the NBA draft. Social media wasn't happy with her discussing Brandon Miller's connection to a murder case. Connection. He hasn't been charged with murder. He's connected with it. On the same night, he was selected number 2 overall by the Charlotte Hornets. Miller is tied to a case that led to former Tide player Darius Miles and Michael Lynn Davis being indicted on capital charges. A police investigator testified in February that Miles texted Miller to bring him his weapon that night. Miller hasn't been charged with any wrongdoing, but she brought it up anyway. Malika Andrews hates black men. I'm just going to say it right now. She hates black men. There's no other reason behind it. And I always say the average black woman has a low level detest for the average black man. And you're starting to see it more and more now in media. Though the ongoing case brought intense scrutiny on Miller and the Alabama program. Andrews said Miller's name did surface in court testimony involving a case where his teammate and another man, they've been indicted for capital charges in the shooting of 23-year-old Jamia Harris in January. Andrews went on to say that University of Alabama described Miller as a cooperating witness. How does that factor in, if at all, into how teams are evaluating him? Andrews asked. And why would she even ask that? He's being drafted. So here's the actual thing here.
Miller, his name did surface in court testimony involving a case where his former teammate and another man, they've been indicted for capital murder in the fatal shooting of 23-year-old Jamia Harris in January. The University of Alabama has described Miller as a cooperating witness. How is this factoring, if at all, into how teams are evaluating him?
Yeah, Malika, part of the
I don't think it would be brought up at all if it wasn't for Malika just bringing it up on national television right now.
She's so awful, guys. She's so awful. I can't stand that woman. And, God rest his soul, Kevin Samuels, he would have a lot to say about Malika Andrews and the misandry, the misandrist, the bitter misandry that comes out of that woman. Ugh. So here are all the different tweets. Saw Malika Andrews trending tonight, and I already knew why. I didn't even have on ESPN when Brandon Miller got drafted, but I knew she would bring up the off-the-court criminal case. Malika Andrews is quite literally bringing up Brandon Miller's name in a case minutes before the NBA draft for no reason. Charlotte Hornets general manager Mitch Kupchak said the Hornets conducted an extensive background check on Miller, including a trip to Alabama about 2 weeks ago. We are comfortable with Brandon on and off the court, Kupchak said, per the Associated Press. So that should be case closed, Malika. Miller has said he can't discuss the case. While it isn't unusual for draft coverage to consist of analysts and hosts breaking down pros, cons, and character traits of the soon-to-be or recently drafted, social media appeared to be in favor of Andrews just keeping it about basketball, and I'm for that too. Malika Andrews, while she's going to be on TV, is just endless content for channels like mine, because most of the stuff she says, if it were a man saying that about a woman, it would not fly. And that's my problem. It's this double standard here. That's why I'm telling you, Malika Andrews is a diversity hire. Try and tell me any different. And the hate, the bitterness, and the misandry that comes out of this woman is it's just unbelievable. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one.